Hello. So today I wanted to talk about lore, hard mechanics, soft mechanics, as well as abilities. Um, I feel like lore should be more useful than simple flavor text, because hard mechanics help like ground the player to perform actions that are like simple and functional. Like you have problem X, and the ability does Y, and you use Y to solve problem X. Compared to the soft mechanics of the game I'm developing, I want to use the lore to help guide players to break the rules in a fun and evocative way. So I developed an ability for this demonstration. You can see in the top left, it's Biel's Lunge, and leap towards your quarry without trepidation, for Biel's blood runs through you. That is the soft mechanical aspect of the ability. And then by exhausting one dice, you dash two zones and bash anything along your way to the ground. And that would be the hard mechanical aspect of the ability. So you can imagine like a beast that roars, that invokes fear in the PC. Um, Typically, a PC wouldn't have a way to deal with that, but if they had this ability, Gale's Lunge, they can leap toward your quarry without trepidation. So by leaning into the soft mechanical aspect, they can overcome uh, another ability or aspect of the environment, um, aspect of the environment's hard mechanical nature. Uh, and then there are other sections within the book's lore that can interact in all kinds of ways. So perhaps there's an item that the PC can chance upon during exploration. So there'd be like a treasure table, PC or GM rolls like 1d100, and then like this item describes BL coming from the land beyond the ice shard sea to the north. So that further develops the character's story. It talks about Biel, this history and lore that might play into aspects of the world later on. So for example, the GM can even build off any of the lore snippets the PC chooses to pursue. So I can imagine um, either by on purpose or by happenstance, the PC slash GM keep coming across uh, items that kind of, or items, spells, abilities, quests that push them to the north through the lore. So the lore is like included in all little snippets, and it all kind of can cultivate and build this story with the table all through dice rolls and then player actions. An example I came up with is like a quest where the PCs find themselves before a spirit of the north whom seeks aid from one of her kin. Now, typically the quest line would have like a person in mind, like the PC goes here, asks for the person's aid, either the person wants to give her or they don't, and then they have to deal with the spirit slash person that way. However, it is open-ended, so in this case, um, the PC has that spell, that ability, Biel's Lunge, which enables them to become the Spirit of the North's aid, because they don't know Biel, but previously they discovered that item that tells them that Biel's from the north. Um, Thus, abilities give more function than the simple hard mechanics of like just leaping two zones and bashing anything along the way. I feel like this gives credence to the lore and it becomes more fun and evocative than simple flavor text. Um, I, I'm thinking that would be fun it's interesting, but is it fun? I feel like it is, because now you're like looking through all these little things, like what does this do? What does that mean? How does that interact? How does this item interact with this spell? I can take an item of like a dragon's horn or something and mix it with a spell of dragon fire to perhaps do something pretty cool with it, versus simply, dragon horn can make, cool item or sell for X amount of gold, and then dragon spell does like bonus fire, um, which is like more typical of items and spells and whatnot in most games. But this is like a really short video. I just want to talk about this concept of soft and hard mechanics. But regardless, I hope you all well, and may something weird and wondrous find you well.